should be live. Mic picking up. Good stuff. So, I've come to a decision. And, this might seem a little bit out of nowhere. Wow, okay, what a greeting. Give me a second. That actually gave me a good scare. I have come to decision. I'm not going to abandon the Kraken build. However, I am going to take a break from it. I need something that isn't this for a wee while. So, the Kraken is something we'll come back to and we'll work a little bit on every now and then. But I simply don't have session after session of me just going at it in me. Anymore, unfortunately. I would love to say that I could just handle that, but no, not quite. So, instead, we are going to slowly but surely start doing other stuff. One thing I want to do, and has sort of been, we've sort of been talking about it a little bit, is to make the Emerald Throne sort of a better spot, right? So this little island over here, I want to sort of make a tower over here. Oh, wait, hold on, let's actually get rid of our sponges and... Oh. So that's how why it disappears. Hey, Salsa, welcome. And what's up? I suppose we'll put it in here. Nope. And that goes here. Here. To hang out in my Discord, right? Hold on. Nah, it's fine. It's fine. It's the same thing, right? So don't overreact too much on it. Alright, so let's just go ahead and grab out a few things. I just changed names just because let's put this in perspective. Just because your best mate changes his name doesn't mean he's any different, does it? Or would you disagree to that? We're just going to be bringing these along. Yes, it still has the same purpose. It's just a reskin of the hangout. Hey, Ice Cream. Happy Sunday to you too. So I have had sort of an idea of what I want to do today. First off, I'm not going to abandon the Kraken project, but we are going to be doing something different in the next couple of streams, just so I can keep what's left of my sanity, you know. Um, I'm already plenty tired from work and all that, so I figured maybe I should start sort of doing some stuff that are a little bit easier sort of to keep up with. And with that being said, I for a long time sort of wanted to wanted to redo this area over here. No. That's so annoying. Alright, are we done? Good. I sort of wanted to redo the area over here. I have referred to it as the Emerald Throne. Because we have an Emerald Throne up there. Alright, see you later, Soso. And I've sort of wanted to redo that because it's at the very beginning of the series, right? At the very beginning of my world. That was the spot in which I... oh, wait, we're not wearing this. Where I would look over at my island, right? This would be the spot in which I looked at most of this stuff. Just sitting here and looking out on it. Now, I'm not sure the Emerald Throne is going to stay exactly in this spot right here. But, I do want to, like, do something a little bit magical and a little bit off style for this particular area. Because I want it to be sort of, how to best describe it. I want it to be, lore-wise, a build that came to be after the Great Disaster, or after the Great War between good and evil, right? I want this to be sort of a small celebratory building, or a monument. Maybe more of a monument built for a certain hero that fell during the battle. Maybe he did something extraordinary that led to the side of the good winning the war, right? Maybe he sacrificed his life or something like that. At least I think that could be a pretty cool sort of lore perspective. Plus, it sort of gives me the option to just enjoy this particular spot for like viewing out the island. And I was thinking that a more of a bright style, so sort of diorite calcite build, might actually be really cool for this here. Is there a piece of wood in there? Or is it slowly decaying? I think it's decaying. Okay. So that's sort of the goal. We're going to be starting sort of a... I think it's going to be sort of a tower style, but maybe a little bit inspired by some Lord of the Rings Gondor like stuff, right? So we're going to have this maybe multiple, probably only one though. I'm not quite sure. I haven't decided. We'll sort of see what we feel like while going at it. But these big towers sort of sticking out of the island. Or at least that was my intention with this. Alright. We definitely don't need those, and we don't need those. Alright, that should have cleared out the island to a reasonable degree. Now, I do just want to take a little bit of a closer look on the island here, to sort of have a rough idea of how I want this to go. So, give me a second. Actually, let's get a little bit more to it. That's perfect. Okay. You give me just 1 second and you can see what I want to do here. Alright, so here we have like the general area, right? Oops, move that down. So what I was thinking is we can extend the island a little bit. We're going to do that with a green color here, right? So we might sort of do something like this for the island a little bit. Have it stick out a little bit further. Sort of still come in there. And that's going to be sort of the shape that we're going to be going for on this island. Now, I was thinking, can I make a cylinder shape up here? Well, that I might... No. Why is this not white? Hello? Why can we not do that? Hello? Why do you refuse to Well, we're just gonna do it in green then. To sort of make some towers. I hate this tool with my entire being. We might make these sort of towers on the sides here. Maybe a couple of towers on the back too. Just to sort of give off this a little bit more imposing view. I might try and connect them up with some sort of wall. Make a square here, square here. This could be a perfect spot for some like smaller statues. I want to try and go for sort of a castle look to this. Because that means I can also because then we have like sort of a courtyard in here and we can sort of plan out stuff like this. I still want to have the island come up quite far. But I think that's somewhat what we're going to try to do with this. Alright. So let's just figure out why you haven't decayed yet. Oh, there are a piece of wood in here. Yes, there were. Hey Ninja. Welcome. I like what you've done with the channel. It's a lot cleaner now. Or with the channels in the Discord. Alright. So, but for our small build here to come together, we are going to require to extend the island a little bit as drawn. So let's get a little bit of stone and a little bit of dirt. Do I only have coarse dirt? Oh, that should be enough for now. If not, we'll just go grab a little bit more. But I will just extend the island first from down here. Oops. Something like that, I think will do just fine. And we'll make that come out from over here and end up over here. So from right here, we'll go, well, we might actually take it from here. Let's just do it correctly. And perfect. Now I just lay this over with a little bit of our dirt. So it's much easier to see. Where I sort of want the island to go. Oh, did I put away the shovel? I think I did. It's very likely that we're gonna need to go and grab some more dirt from somewhere, but for now, this will sort of do the job just fine, I think. Let's just take a look. And that's pretty much what I drew out, wasn't it? So now we pretty much just do the same thing over here. But I do think I want to include some of that, actually. I couldn't see that on the other side, but I do think that would make a nice little change. So something more like this here. But apparently I'm unable to think logically here. Making this come across again, so we can just take a step back and actually make sure that everything looks the way it's supposed to. Yes, I like that. I like that quite a bit. I want this side to be a little bit flatter, right? We're still gonna go up here, but this might not be quite enough, but we'll check in on that in a little bit. Oh, such a shame the rain stopped. I actually rather do like being able to just take off and yeah, I think it's a little bit might do some smoothing out from there to there. Alright, let's do that. Give me a second, just a couple of messages. All right. I might actually take it from all the way out here. So, let's count. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6, 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 1, 2. And we just take this rather sharply in now, I think. Something akin to that. Right here. I think will work as a nice curve to it. Now, I work after a concept that is always spring out by uneven numbers. Oh, right. So, let's just take a look at how that turned out. Yeah, I think that's an alright. I could probably curve it even more, but I think having sort of a sharp curve there is gonna turn out quite nicely too. Now, it does seem we have unwanted attention here. So let's just get some torches down. And the water's down here. Or by the water. One moment. Just got a message, so I'm gonna be AFK for about 15 here in a second, for a little bit. So sorry about that. Alright, I am back. Sorry about that. Ugh, offensives. And like these, now I should no longer have to figure creepers and stuff out here. Now, the question is how I want to build this up. I do think I want to flatten out the top here a little bit so it's at least around the same layer. Oh wait, is this the fortune one? Yeah, okay. Let's just switch shovel here. So we'll take a little bit off the top in some places and add in a little bit on other places. Though I do think that this is probably like a good layer for it, so like it's still fairly far above the water but not terribly far above the water. Alright, that's pretty good. It also helps us acquire a little bit of that dirt that we're desperately lacking. Alright. And now we fill out here. Nice. Dealt with those. So now all of that is connected. We lower this. Hey Leo, welcome. How are you? I hope all is good. I'm alright, I'm alright. I've decided to put a pin into the Kraken project for a little bit. It's simply too draining to continue digging at all times. So today we are going to be doing a sort of a smaller build here. Because we've had like that emerald throne there for a while. And it sort of used to be like at the very beginning of everything. The spot in which I would sit to look over at the village, right? Look over at what we had sort of done. I really like that whole shenanigan. But the Emerald Throne hasn't really been in use for a long time, which is partially because I think it's sort of it's just an Emerald Throne. It's nothing more than that. So I wanted to do something over here where we sort of like make a small monument. Now, I have come up with a couple of reasons in my head for the monument to be here. Let's actually just turn down blocks a little bit. And that being that I want to sort of use this area as a memorial area. So, as you know, there are some lore going that there used to be a war between good and evil, and I sort of want to make this as sort of a memorial area for some of the greatest heroes, right? It would make sense that it's nearby, nearby the epicenter of the war. I think that would make a lot of sense. Oh my. Let's just get rid of that, and that. So I think that it would make a fair amount of sense to... Jesus Christ, there are more phantoms. To have that right next to the island, sort of overlooking it. So I'm sort of just evening it out a little bit so it's easier for me to figure out where things will go. While also, let's get rid of this, and that. This will sort of give me a lot better access to the area to figure out how exactly I'm going to do it. I do think I want to try and go for something, not sure how familiar you are with Lord of the Rings, but I was sort of thinking about something where it's going to look a little bit akin to some of the Towers of Gondor, if that gives you anything to go off on. At least that was my initial thought. We're going to see whether it's actually going to turn out that way, but for now I think that's a pretty good idea for the general style of this place. That means we're going to be working with diorite, calcite, maybe a little bit of white wool. Haven't quite decided on that yet. We might throw some concrete into the mix. I should still have a decent amount of white concrete just lying around. If not, we'll make more. And I think that's also going to crash nicely with the usage of words are failing me. With the sort of the throne I want to be sitting on to look onto the island. I might try and go for sort of a whitewashed sort of look. Well, so what do you think? Towers of Gondor. Let's just see what Towers of Gondor. It's sort of that stylish thing. Not necessarily quite that, but something akin to it. Like, I'm not gonna straight rip it off, I think, but I think that's the initial inspiration I want on this small island over here. Alright, so now we have that. I now want to extend this up a little bit so we have sort of the area where it's supposed to be. So we're just going to go ahead and go here on the inside of all of it. Don't know. My stream is registering 6 concurrent viewers, but we'll, I suppose people are just either semi-AFK or just sort of want to sit back and enjoy. And I'm completely alright with that. Alright, let's just fill in this area here. Put a torch so we won't have anything spawning in the floor. Ah, 4K. I think the stream is on a little bit less, but why you ask? Yeah. I don't know. I've never really thought about it much. Likely more due to some that's well, I have quite a lot of stuff open at the same time, right? And besides, like I could probably increase it to more, like depending on where I look and stuff, but shaders do take out quite a bit of chunk, quite a chunk of the performance. Not gonna lie. Hmm. Yeah, it might. Alright, let's even this out. Meaning that would go up here. Oh, out of dirt. That's not very promising. At all, really. I might want to finish up this side then. So at least one of the sides are exactly as it's supposed to be. And the final overhead here. We're gonna do the same thing over here. Add in a few corner blocks. By the way, whenever you have something open in the background, it won't affect. Yeah, yeah, yeah. But no, when recording with OBS and sending out to multiple platforms, it does affect my FPS in game. Like whenever I turn it off, per chance I can't show you that because then I would have to turn it off, right? But my FPS does increase with like almost 15 whenever I turn the streaming software off. So 15, 20-ish. Alright, good, good. Alright, so we have... I should probably rename the stream, shouldn't I? Give me a second. It's not quite appropriately named right now, considering what we're doing. There we go. And perfection. There we go. Now let's get a little bit of light up here. Just so creepers don't walk about and blow up our stuff, our progress here. Now I also want this to come over right about here. And of course, bring down some light. Again, we definitely don't want monsters running about in our walls. I can think a few things worse than that. Ugh, but we are pretty much out of all that good stuff called dirt. So let's go over to the dirt mine. And grab a bunch. Alright, we moved over here, didn't we? At least this seems like a place that we've been for a bit. There we go. It's wild how little dirt I have, I think. Let's put that on. Like at this point, I think I have more dirt than I do, or more diamonds than I do dirt to my name. Hold on, hold on, hold on. I'll read in just a second. Indeed. Like, and like 130 frames are plenty for Minecraft. Honestly, I think you can play Minecraft just fine on 60 FPS. Like, it'd be different if I was playing a shooter, but I don't think it matters that much when you're playing the block game. Let's get rid of that. Nice. Hello, Mr. Zombie. And phantoms. More? No, okay. Yeah, exactly. And it's not like hardcore Minecraft, just particular competitive. Alright, let's go about, pick this up. Make sure that we have none of this on us, because we really don't need that. Alright, let's see if this amount of dirt is enough to get us to finish up that sort of terraforming over there. Whee! Oh yeah, but again, we're playing a very simple version of the game here. All I really need is it for to run semi-smoothly while we while everything looks pretty with shaders. That's my requirement for this. I don't need a lot more than that. More phantoms, okay. 3 apiece, it would seem. How did that not hit? Excuse you. Oh. Good stuff. We'll switch out all the torches eventually, but for now, this is alright. And now this tiny island. I'm hoping that this should look semi-natural after we've finished up with this, but we'll see. Four, Jesus. There we go. Okay. Yeah. I know. It's just, it felt like that for sure hit. Alright, let's take a look. Alright, shall we take a look comparatively to the sketch I made for what I sort of wanted for the island in the beginning? I mean, that's pretty darn close. We can work with that for sure. Now, there's just a little bit of stuff we need to clear out here. And I'm kind of feeling that this is too sharp. I might want to, like, curve it in a little bit. So let's just try for that. Something akin to that shape here. Alright. Yeah, I should be streaming tomorrow. I should be. Unless work demands something different. But we'll see. We'll see. I'll let know on the Discord if I'm not streaming. For sure. Sweet. Yeah, yeah. Hope to see you, man. Hope to see you. Alright, that should be enough rounding for it to not look as like flat and weird. Not gonna deal with those phantoms now, like they're gonna die off anyway in a second. Alright, so that means we have the base for our island here. Or the base of our island done. Now, as I said, I sort of want to do some larger towers here, 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 and here. Maybe alongside some squarish looking objects here. Those could be for smaller statues maybe, or some small scale statues, or some decorative purposes. So, but I do think that we should start out by setting the foundation for the towers. Oh. I completely forgotten I had a beacon there. So, as I said, I sort of want to go for more of a Gondor look to these towers. Meaning that I want to be using a bunch of white stone over anything else, pretty much. Copper. In that case, buy copper. The inside we might do in wood, but for now, we'll keep that sort of hidden away. Welcome back, Salsa. So, let's try and grab the blender blocks I was thinking. I was thinking some diorite, and I was thinking some polished diorite alongside that, for sure. So something like that. Alongside that diorite, I think if we have enough calcite, that could be a really nice twist to it. And I might actually try and run some smooth basalt towards the edge of it. let's just grab a shulker that we can have all of this stuff in. Nice. If I bring the Ender Dragon to the overworld, you can destroy the site in minutes. Really? Can you send me a video on that? Because that sounds like something I would like to look into. Let's just grab a little bit of cobblestone. A little bit of mossy couples. Ooh. I don't have a lot of that left apparently. Surely I have a decent amount of moss left. Yes, good. Good stuff, good stuff, good stuff. Well, we might bring some moss. That seems like a good idea. Yeah, but isn't that like super difficult to control? Some vines might also be good, alongside some mud bricks. Where do I keep my mud bricks? In here? Yes, mud bricks, regular pack mud. Alright, let's try and do the basic shape of the flooring over here. I also got to decide how wide I want the towers to be. So let's just grab this here. So if I put one tower here as the middle, I go out 1, 2, 3 maybe? Break that. So something akin to that. Wait, pardon. 1, 2. 1, 2. Ah, right. I did make a whoopsie. Ah, seems like I might have to do this a little bit more conspicuous, like a little bit more conscious of what we're doing. So that would be the size of one of the towers. I think that's a pretty decent size for it. Perfect. Then we do another one right here as the middle. Bam. Bam. 1, 2. So from all the way down here. Hey Draco. So I've decided to put a pin into the Kraken for a little bit. just to sort of well, do something else. And we've had this emerald throne over here for a while, sort of looking towards the village, and for a long time it was sort of my my vantage point where I would sit and sort of just like look at the village from afar, right? I would sit right here on the emerald throne and just enjoy life, right? However, I haven't really done that. Yeah, we are. I'm gonna do that a little bit because I have been working quite diligently on it. However, it's also quite sort of rough to do the same thing over and over. So I've decided to sort of get some of this, like do a side project here, something that a small build that's just gonna renew my interest, you know. That works. The next one is going to be right there. So let's go over here. So here. And then we just have to take care of the last tower, which is going to be over here-ish. Build something orange before 2027. Well, okay, before 2027 we'll build something orange. I guarantee you. Alright, so now we have the main sort of built an orange. No, I probably won't be doing that. Sorry. Alright, we're just gonna get the main walls in here. And sort of have this running. Have this come running off the side. This is going to be quite a simple build, almost sort of starter base-esque, I think. Though we are going to be using some rare blocks like calcite. At some point I might, or at some point I will make something that is orange, don't worry. It won't be today, but Today I want to try and work with some whites. But generally speaking, I don't mind the idea of working with some orange at all. Oh boy. Four? Really? Alright, let's take a look. Yeah, that's something akin to what I wanted. Now, I'm going to be putting away most of the blocks that we have, or some of the blocks, that all these white ones. We don't need those right now. What I do need is this here. Because I just want to come over along the edges of this. With sort of a something that's going to make it look like this has been around for a long time. Oh, not a moment of peace, do we? We don't have access to the pale logs, as we aren't in that update yet. But we will be building with them once we get access to them. But there's gonna be a wee while before I update the world. It's probably gonna be something after the Kraken when we update the world. Alright. Luckily this bit is pretty darn easy to do. Alright, come on then. Okay, let's get some more of this on the hotbar so I don't have to think. I can simply scroll the mouse wheel. I think on the inside here we're going to be using a mixture of coarse dirt and some coarse dirt and packed mud. You made another silly Joe animation? Well, you can always send it to me in DMs. Phantoms, okay, we'll deal with that one before we continue this. What's my Friday? Well, Friday. I think that's pretty regular. I think Friday's period might just be my favorite day, actually, even including weekends. No, to me it's just like Friday is the beginning of it all, right? If you have a lot of like, sure, you have to work, but again, I don't mind working usually. Come on, bugger off. I just want a little bit of peace. Phantoms, is that too much to ask for? Clearly. You know what? No, we're not wearing our elytra right now, so. Yeah, that's true. Alright. Can I get the last bit right in here? No, damn. Alright. Let's get rid of some of this. Alright, let's scrap a bunch of this. So we can put away a bunch of this. Okay. Because now I kind of want to get started on the whole thing here. I sort of want to start towering up the towers just so that I know how tall I want them to be. Alright, see you later, Salsa. And to get a much better idea of where things are going to be. Alright, let's go up 3 more. Well, actually, let's go up 6 for now. Because then I think I can fly all the way over here. No. What a shame. This is very much like just freestyle building, which I've been missing quite a bit of actually. I feel like like the last couple of builds we've been going big on. And this is just whatever feels right in the moment, which I quite like that way of building, you know. No particular big jumps and stuff, you know. You're playing Among Us? Really? Is that still active? Huh. I've almost already used up all the calcite we had access to. Ooh, that's kinda rough. I guess I gotta find some more calcite. You do? Huh. Huh. I feel like it might look nice if we add some towers here and here. So if I use that as the center. Nah. We're gonna use that as a center. No. This as a center. Well, that also means we get to go on a little bit of a exploring spree with the honestly, I know next to nothing about Among Us. I think I have it, but it's like I have less than like 5 minutes in it, so I can't really say I know much about it. Wow, that actually matches up with the chair. that comes as a surprise to me. After we finished up building this up to where it's supposed to be, we'll go look for some more calcite. Which is a difficult thing to look for, but if I remember correctly, we actually hit a geode while mining out for the Kraken, so with a little bit of luck I should just be able to go there and then just mine out all of the area there. Or all of the stuff there. But let's just take a look before we do. Yeah, I think that's gonna be real nice. As a sort of a small island feature. The towers are of course going to be about twice as tall, maybe maybe even 1.5 times. But it's I think that's a very good. So I want to bring this tower up to about here, and then put the roof on it. We're going to do sort of a rounding roof. The walls are going to come up to about here. We might make them a little bit thicker than just one. We'll see. And then I might actually do like sort of a weird building in here. Hey Jesse, welcome. And we might do sort of a weird building in here or over here. Now I think we're going to do sort of a weird building here. Then I'm gonna try and make an obelisk of obsidian and crying obsidian over here. And then we're gonna make this area into sort of a small graveyard. I think that's gonna be a pretty good fix to it. Then the building, the sort of weird building that we're gonna be creating in this space here is gonna be quite tall. And sort of face towards here, so I can have my emerald throne somewhere up there, looking over the village. So somewhere here maybe, guys. Then we have access. Then we can sort of see a lot of stuff, and it's gonna be offline with this. So that means when you're in the village, you're actually gonna be able to see over towards this, the Emerald Throne Island. But yeah, that's sort of what I'm thinking. Before we head any further though, let's just grab a few more rockets. And then, also, is there room in here to unload all of this? Barely. Okay. Don't really care about 11 cobblestone. Okay. So, I've run out of calcite, which honestly I sort of did expect. So I have been thinking about where we can find some calcite, and I'm pretty sure on the right side somewhere, next to the Kraken, or next to the Kraken perimeter, we can, I had a geode. I exposed a geode, I'm pretty sure. That's somewhere alongside here. It might be easier just using the free cam for that. I was quite certain I saw a geode at some point, somewhere around here. Ah, well, I saw one there. Really? No geode? I was quite certain there were one. What about on this wall here? Ah, there we go. There it was. It wasn't in the exact spot I thought it was, but hey. I remembered there were a geode. That's the important bit. So... And it's even like not very exposed, which is super good. Because that means that there are a lot of calcite in it. Can I get to swimming down here? Ah, right about now, one of those night vision potions would be an absolute lifesaver. Come on, let me swim. So I can crawl underneath this. And slowly remove all the calcite so we can continue our build. Oh no. Oh, I drowned. Hello? I did not. Ow. Ow. Hello? Wait, that also needs to be on my hotbar. Absolutely, when we're not wearing Can I? Please? I miss a mechanic to like swim downwards or sort of a... Okay. I want all of the calcite from this area. Very important to me. And I don't really care too much for the amethyst. Though I do think that maybe eventually we will care for it quite a bit. And it has like a really good position, like rather close to the Kraken. Meaning that we can very easily exploit it. Like sort of build one of those machines that that harvest it automatically whenever a thing grows. I don't know, is there a way to craft calcite? I know we can make diorite, but can we make calcite? Is calcite craftable? That is actually something I do not know. Because I quite do like calcite. I think it's a very smooth looking white block. Like I really like how I was gonna say off-white, but it's definitely white, right? But it's a little bit more textury than a lot of other white blocks are, without feeling like a dirty block, you know. Which I think is kind of rare. I feel like most white blocks are either very intense on the color scheme, or very dirty looking. Hello, can I? Thank you. Getting all our calcite is nice. We should have plenty of diorite ready for this build. So I'm not really worried about that particular block. I think we have a full shulker just sitting around. But calcite is sort of the difficult thing to acquire a lot of. I wonder how people do it. In the I've seen some guys build like huge like make huge buildings out of this stuff, but so I suppose there must be a way to craft it. Surely they didn't mine it out. Surely. That's a decent amount of calcite, but it's not really enough, I think. While it does make a good chunk into what I want to do, I kind of need more. I kind of need more. Was it over here we had another geode? No. What about over here then? Yes. Alright, so this was the geode I remembered. However, this one does seem to be a lot smaller than I had hoped for. Alright, let's just boot. So I make sure that I'm not picking up any like deep slate. I don't really need more of that. I think we have plenty deep slate just lying around. Starting from the bottom, and then we're just gonna move up. All right. We are almost at the desired amount of blocks, I reckon. We are just gonna, of course, get the rest of the calcite near this, but but considering this is only a quarter of one, we should be pretty close to being done here. Oh, whoops. Don't really care for these, though, as I said, it's actually quite convenient if we have a geode right next to the Kraken area, because it's going to be quite easy to just pop on the custom machine onto that for like breaking all of the amethyst shards. Well. So plenty of room. Nice. We'll go down and grab those later. Nice, that should be almost all of the wonderful stuff here. Hey Kiwi, welcome. Alright, switch on to that, grab this, and fly off. So, today Kiwi, we're doing something a little bit different. I've decided to put a pin in the Kraken for a little bit. Just because, I don't know, it's rough on one's mentality doing that over and over and over and over again. So, we are remaking the Emerald Throne, something we talked about not even that long ago. So as you can see, I've sort of started already down over here a little bit for some towers and some walls around that area. And I sort of want to make it into more of a memorial area for forgotten heroes or something like that. Forgotten heroes of the war. Things akin to that. Alright, so that's the amount of calcite we ended up with. That's workable, I think. We can work with that. Alright, let's just grab this. But what we cannot work with is me having pretty much run out of diorite. Damn. That comes as a surprise. Okay. Let's just go fix that. Well, in that case, welcome, Kiwi. Yep. Home, dear home. We haven't spent a lot of time in here lately. So let's just grab that. No way I'm gonna need more diorite than that, hopefully. Let's make a little bit of this here. So now we have plenty of that. I think we're gonna extend all the towers first, and then we'll see what's up after that. Let's also just pluck this down here, so I don't need to run around with the shovel or have it in my inventory alongside with the torches. And then sort this out a little bit. A wee bit. Alright. Perfect. So we're going to start over on this tower. I think we're just going to take this up by 9. Because that's going to make them, what? Almost 20 tall. And then we'll see whether or not we need to add a little bit more height to it. You know what? We're going to take it up 12. So sort of just bringing this around, so we have these nice tall towers, which are like the idea with this, right, is that lore-wise, right, we had the war going on this island thousands of years ago, the Demon King Skull, and I sort of want this island here where we're gonna have our Emerald Throne. I'm gonna move it to somewhere else on the islands, of course. But I want this to be sort of a memorial island for some of the great heroes that fell during this war. So over here we're going to make sort of an obelisk for some great heroes that fell, alongside with some smaller sort of a graveyard area over here. Um, and then I'm gonna try and design a weird building for this. Not quite sure what it's gonna look like, but we're gonna try and design a weird building for this. Where we can then move the emerald throne up on, so we can look out over onto this, on our island here. I think that's gonna be sort of the main goal for this. And I sort of wanted to, like, this is built after the war, right? So it needed to have sort of a very clean and white look to it, something victorious, as a monument built to the fallen heroes. It needed to be white, and it needed to be clean looking and sort of pristine. So I'm like, my general idea with it was sort of a for it to sort of resemble the Towers of Gondor from Lord of the Rings, because I figured that looked like something which would make sense for the different races to agree upon. That, like, we have it close by the ocean for the water races in the world, so it's easily accessible for them. The dwarves are happy we're just using stone. The elves are happy with the color scheme. It feels grandiose enough for the heroes to be here, or for this to be sort of a memorial spot for them. And for the humans, it's quite straightforward. Just white has always been a nice color for them, and they sort of govern the area. So I think that makes sense to that degree. Alright. Each of these towers could even resemble or could even be for one of the heroes that fell in the battle. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 big towers, meaning that we can... Oh, I could split it into 6 towers for the 6 races. Oh yes, please. Not that I have 6 races in mind yet, but wait. So, or this, can I say 6 nations? Let's just count it out. So we have elves, we have dwarfs, humans, Atla, and that's Atlantean. So that's 4 races, or 4 nations. And then we could have the barbarians. That's 5. But for the 6th race, the 6th humanoid race, anyone has a good idea for a 6th race? 6th race? Like, what would fit well into a fantasy theme? I feel like I have, like, elves. There we have the forest represented. Dwarves, we have the stone and mountains represented. Humans, we have progress represented. Atlanteans, we have the ocean represented, and with the barbarians, we sort of have the savageness of the world represented. Oh, I could make a mage country. Yeah, there we go. That's now we have our 6 main countries lore-wise. So we have this complete. These are the 6 main nations. We may make more nations as we go, but these are the 6 that were primarily active during the war. I think would make sense. Is it 90 I go up to? Let's just land on this one. Yes, it is. Okay. Oh. Hello? There you go. I caught that rather fast this time. No black screen. I wish you could make like different kinds of colored fire in Minecraft. That would be, I think that would be one of the perfect ways to represent it, but like having, because then I could say that we have 3 main colors, which would be the 3 primary colors, yellow, blue, and red. Yellow being the elves or the dwarves. Because I feel like humans would be red, right? Imperial red or something like that. Ooh, we ran out of calcite. I feel like the humans would probably really like for okay, wait, hold on. Ugh. Hello. The humans would probably be Imperial Red or Royal Blue, right? So the humans can be either, so it's just what fits, what is more yellow? Dwarves or elves? I don't know, I don't feel like yellow fits either particularly well. Or we should, no, I'm gonna be making humans yellow. I think is actually like, I actually kind of like the height on that. So let's just raise all of it to that particular level. I was not flying fast there, so. Because if I put the humans as yellow, yes, it's quite easy to defend that the Atlantean are sort of a mix between, or should the Atlantean be the original elves? Oh, that, because then they could be blue. Then elves that live on the ground is then all right, look, I have some brilliant addition to the lore. Elves that are on the ground, all elves were originally from the water. Right. Uh, they originally all lived in the water, and therefore they are blue. Um, Elves that moved up and started living on the ground, they can't really live on the ground, so they are actually a half breed of elves and humans, making them green because it's blue and yellow equaling green, which fits perfectly with wood elves. And we can then add the red to the dwarves and give the barbarians sort of an orangey hue. Because not necessarily because the barbarians are barbaric and that sort of stuff that they are mixed with the dwarves, but because they live by out in very harsh country that even humans wouldn't, and their technology wouldn't be able to. And we would be able to justify sort of an offshoot like that. That would be a very easy way to justify the different colors, I think. But let me hear you guys' thoughts on that, because it is certainly a difficult decision picking their colors already. But I think it could, like, it feels kind of weird giving humans yellow, but I don't feel like giving the dwarves yellow either. And I think it fits more into like the multi-scheme of colors. If we then make the wood elves halflings between Atlanteans and humans, because then we also have the right color scheme going through. I think that would make sense. And that means I could quite easily just like slap on some whoops. Slap on some banners onto each of these walls here, like facing the island. Maybe even like make a small flag on top of them in each color, resembling the primary color that the races or nations have. Yeah, that makes sense. I can work with that for sure. Now we just need to make the wall a tad taller. I wonder if 7 tall is enough. Because it is the towers that are supposed to jump out at you and not a massive wall. Yep, okay, good. In that case we do that to sort of make the transition a little bit easier on the eyes. No, we might actually bring that up way further. Let's try this. I think that works out quite nicely, but we have run out of diorite. Really? That is something I never thought I was gonna have to say. It's not even that we have a whole bunch of diorite, because I've used most of it already. is intense dislike to that. Okay, that should be plenty. One, two, three, four, five, six. I haven't even measured how far is there between these. Can I do a archway? Sort of a simple one. Does it really have to be? I think it does. Okay. I could also just move one of the pillars. It's gonna be this pillar that we're moving. One back. Yeah, I'm much more pleased with that. Perfect. And 1, 2, 3. Now we're gonna go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3. I do think that I wanna jump down here and actually bring this up here. So something like that. Does that work here too? It does. Yeah, that's gonna look awesome once it's done. Gonna be a wee while before it's done though, but it's gonna look awesome. That's all that matters. Though we might run out of diorite before then. Luckily, we have a huge digging project that, I mean, going over there and finding a diorite vein shouldn't be too challenging. But I think we should be able to finish up the wall before we run out completely, right? Hey Saucil, welcome back. Do I wanna... Nah. Does that work on this side too? Yeah, that's quite alright. Oh wow, yeah, it's been it's been so much longer. Well, it is weekend, but yeah, I am. Well, hold on. My recent streams have all been 2 hours. Right? But yeah, you're right. This one is longer than usual. One, two, three, four, five. Alright. Oh wait, this doesn't actually have it. Oh, well, hold on. Hold on. I don't think we have enough to make it through on this, but hey. I doubt very much, but we'll try to get through this. Ah, damn, we ran out of the diorite. We'll just continue this line here. There we go. So, we have to acquire more diorite. Yeah, do that, also. Sounds like a good idea. Alright, so I guess we go fill our inventory with diorite. Yeah, it just requires a lot of quartz. And I like, considering we have this area over here that I need to dig out anyways. Yeah, it is. Welcome back, Draco. Considering I need to dig this out anyway, right? This area here needs to go. I might as well just land, enjoy life a little bit. Wow. Okay, you need to go first. You go second, and bye. Okay. No. Bye, 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 bye. Good stuff. And now we just steal this vein here. And to make that a little bit easier, now I don't have to worry too much about what we're digging. Wait. You want to PvP? Alright, yeah. Okay. I was about to, I'd be a little bit worried there. Could you not? Well, I really dislike creepers right now. Here I am just trying to acquire a little bit of diorite. And I'm just getting carpet bombed by those guys. Did I bring the shovel? I did not bring the shovel. You will. Sir, no. No means no. Jesus Christ. Oh, an invis spider. Actually, I actually did not see that coming before it was on me. Usually I see the invis spider. Oh no. Go over there, please. Oh, what? Why did he not take knockback? That was kind of scary. Yeah, most of the server had tried to PvP me and lost, which I was very surprised about, considering how terrible I am at PvP. So yeah, I suppose. Shall we see if we can find a little bit more diorite? That would be nice. Oh, hello there. This vein seems to be unobstructed, close to a beacon, and just in the perfect spot for me to mine out. Without any water sort of getting in my way. How close are we to an inventory full? Far. Okay. I gotta admit, it's sort of like I've been playing a lot of modded Minecraft, where I have access to vein mining, and I really miss that when having to gather diorite, for example. Like just being able to click a couple of times and then everything is gone. Oh, that's so nice. Oh well, this vein was a lot less nice than I thought it was going to be. Well, it continues over here. Maybe it's not so bad. But also water here. Huh. Well, we have another one here. Wait, hold on. Give me a second to catch up. You're actually still figuring out the actual Minecraft mechanics? Yeah. Like they're, I don't know. In a lot of my modded Minecraft, right? There's things that supersede the regular mechanics. So I don't think you necessarily need to have figured out. Well, I mean, I guess it depends on whether you want to play hardcore or not. If you're just playing regular survival, there's nothing to fear. If you're playing hardcore, I definitely suggest getting I really believe that hardcore isn't actually about how good you are about in the game, because like a lot of people who aren't very good at Minecraft are very good in hardcore. Or when I say not very good at Minecraft, I mean like mechanic-wise, like MLG, water bucket clutches, parkour, PvP, and all that sort of stuff. I think it's a lot more about knowledge of the game. Knowing what can get you killed is super important in hardcore, rather than the being able to do a water bucket clutch or fight with end crystals. Alright. How much diorite do I have now? Pretty much a full inventory worth. Perfect. Well, let's go repair our pickaxe while we're at it. Well, that's a pretty sorry wave that came through there. Ugh. But it's nice just sort of being back to building. I really enjoy this. There we go. That's a lot better. And the lighter is good. Perfect. Well, that sounds more like, don't get me wrong, Saucel, but that sounds like a brain issue rather than if you're getting outskilled in life by a mosquito. That's kind of sounds like it's on you, man. Not gonna lie, that sounds like something you should definitely be able to work around. Wait, there's no way I'm already out of. Oh, thank God. I was about to blow a casket there. Okay, good stuff. Ah, right, I had already started on this. Whee. And same thing over here. And that should look pretty decent too. Now we're gonna go across and do all like the bottom here, so that we don't have diorite just sitting on nothing. However, first I want to get my shovel for that. Let's put most of this in here. Hopefully we won't be needing a lot more than that. Because I need all of this to be sitting straight on the ground. I can't have this sort of sticking out all by itself. Looks weird. Looks really weird. Ah, right, of course, that is a slight issue. I'll fix that later. Yeah, we don't mind that. We mind this here. Fix. Yeah, you're moving up in the world. You are, so. Oh, what? Yeah, excuse you. There you go. And does that then pretty much do it? No, there's still a little bit left over here. Luckily, all of that is a pretty quick fix. Alright, that should make it feel a lot more solid, that it doesn't like stick out from the, that it doesn't have dirt sticking out from the ground. And that's true. Alright. So, now I think it is time for me to figure out how I want to fit a strange building in there. That isn't a tower, but a building that looks towards the village. That is going to be a challenge. And I'm not quite sure what block palette we're going to be using for it. If I stand over here, of course I still have detailing and a lot of stuff to do on the walls. Well, we can also do that first. Sure. So let's just grab one of these so we can craft over there. For a building, you want to be going a red sort of theme on it. Don't you think that's going to be a little bit extreme? Well, first, let's just get the pillars in. We're gonna first pop them in on all these surfaces here, so they are cleanish. So on 71 we pop down the stairs. Whoop. And this is the middle, right? Yeah, good. You wonder how many push-ups I would do if I had to do one push-up for every block. I mean, is it time used? That would really end up sucking. No, it's probably this one. No, that's times crafted. Oh. And the final one, I think. No, this isn't gonna be the final one. Never mind. Yes. No. And that already helps out a little bit. Now let's get some... It might actually be nice with some dark oak fence to outline that with a little bit, or just to highlight it. Though I'm not sure we have a terrible good amount of dark wood. Dark oak. Alright, good night, Social. Yep. This is sort of what I was afraid of. I need me some more sticks. Oh wait, did I just make... Yeah, I did. Damn it. Right. Well, that should be enough. Oh, we might as well bring the 12 we have. So if I do it like this here, we get a very clear division in it. So it's only going to be the upper and the lower one. Well, fine. We might do that later for lanterns, but first I just want to make everything pop a little bit here. I also somehow need to make sure that it looks like this has been here for a while now. Not quite sure how I'm gonna achieve that, but we'll try and work it in somehow. It might just be by putting some leaves on this side of it. Now it needs to be very, very well maintained, which is why it's not super dirty. Oh. Did I forget to put on here? I did. Because I think it would make sense that they want to keep the heroes area very clean. I think that would be sort of the natural thing to do. If you have like a bunch of heroes that died in a war for you, and the greatest war of the world has ever seen, at least I would believe that you would like to keep that sort of clean. Clean looking. So that you don't dishonor their memory. Ah, how I wish I brought my axe now. Wait, which one of them is wrong? This one. Damn. Nah, not gonna deal with those guys. Oh, that was the worst thing that could have happened. Can you just stop burning, please? Really? Really, please just start dying. Yeah, thank you. You know what? Easier fix. I'm probably not at this point, but anyway. There we go. There we go. And nice. And I really didn't have enough. Oh, we'll have to go create some then. $48 should be plenty for completing this part anyway. I might need more going forward, but since I don't have that much diorite to my name, I'm sort of careful about using it. I think that should have made like a pretty neat little detail at the bottom here. Now I do think I want to come forward and put down a few stairs of just regular diorite and the polished for like at the bottom here. In places. Like here. Like, why is this? There we go. Like, not necessarily on all of the edges, but like just sort of spray them randomly. Just to curve it out a wee bit. If I had some pale oak, if we were in that update right now, I would certainly be adding it as a detail to this, sort of to curve it out even more. But seeing as we don't, I'm just gonna have to work without it. That's not going to make too much of a visual change. Maybe a little bit, but not a whole bunch. Now, I do think that on the top of the walls, I want to add in some slabs to the top up here. And that it is always going to be the polished diorite that is as the slab up there. I could, of course, also do that with stairs. But I do think I like a not so rounded area for that. Let's actually just fly over to the other side, so I don't have to waste a rocket. Oop. Ah, well. Sure. Well, so much for not wasting that rocket. Now again, that doesn't do a whole bunch, though I do want a stair on top of that. Perfect. Or perhaps. Yep. Oh. Perchance much better. And I think that is a pretty good stop for today, I reckon. As far as what we're gonna try with tomorrow, is likely to do a little bit more detailing down here. I'm probably gonna chuck a few vines and a little bit of leaves up against the wall here, just to make it seem a little bit less one-dimensional. We're then probably gonna carve out a couple of windows into these towers, put some balconies onto them, have a little bit of stuff hanging down from there. Not sure whether it's gonna be fence, chain, lantern, or just fence, lantern, but we'll see. Then we'll work on the house here in the middle, and I'm probably not gonna finish that up. Likely not. But I can do this just before leaving. You know what? That's gonna be 2. Now we have a little bit more well-defined gate. I'm probably gonna lower that one there. Yeah. Because then I'm gonna be making sort of a small docking area down here, so you can actually come visit this island. Have some trees and stuff come off the side where it's flat enough for that to happen, so we can pop one here. Of course, one here. Maybe one down there too. Some around here. One back here, of course. Custom trees are also going to go a long way. We are, of course, also going to have to fix this down below, but that's not going to take too long. I might make a small hopper come out and curve a little bit to the side, so you can like come around here and then have something that's a little bit straight here, so a bigger ship would be able to dock, and there's room for a bunch of smaller ships if you want to go out here. But yeah, I think that is about it for today. And I mean, I really enjoyed sort of building this little thing, so I hope to see you guys back again. I'm pretty sure I'm going to be streaming tomorrow, but work is rough at the moment, so I can't really guarantee anything. But until next time, cheerio, and Joe out.